Our top story focuses on the upcoming strike action announced by the General Secretary of the Ghana's Teachers Union. Set to commence on February 5, 2024, the strike aims to address issues related to inadequate wages and poor working conditions for teachers nationwide. We'll discuss the GTU's effort since 2019 to resolve these issues and the government's response to the planned industrial action. In defense news, the Parliamentary Committee of Supply has approved a substantial budget allocation of $42.2 billion for the Ghana Defense Force in 2024. This funding is intended for critical defense enhancements, including procuring aircraft, helicopters, drones, and an offshore patrol vessel. We'll explore the significance of this allocation in strengthening Ghana's military infrastructure and capabilities. Turning to environmental concerns, the Environmental Protection Agency has issued an advisory about a visible haze around the East Bank Demerara and East Coast Demerara regions. We'll cover the EPA's findings on the Air Quality Index and the recommended precautions for the public due to the high concentration of particulate matters from the Sahara dust. In a tragic update, police are investigating a fatal accident on the Takama Trail in the Ituni district of Upper Demerara Berbice, which claimed the life of Aaron Leach and left 3 others injured. We'll provide details on the circumstances of the accident and the ongoing investigation. Finally, in international news, Argentina's government expressed confidence that its economic reform bill, the Omnibus Bill, will gain approval in Congress after making concessions to remove some divisive sections from the legislation. We'll delve into the implications of this bill and its potential impact on Argentina's economy. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 31st, 2024. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the General Secretary of the Ghana Teachers Union, Coretta MacDonald, announced that teachers nationwide are set to commence strike action on February 5, 2024, to address issues related to inadequate wages and poor working conditions. MacDonald highlighted instances where teachers face challenging circumstances, such as malfunction in school toilets and unsafe infrastructure. The GTU claims to have sought resolution through letters and consultations since 2019, with little response from the government. The GTU has extensively consulted with members, receiving widespread support for the industrial action. However, Minister of Labour Joseph Hamilton has deemed the strike illegal. Despite his claims, MacDonald emphasized that the GTU has followed proper guidelines and accused the government of ignoring teachers' concerns. She noted that the strike aims to achieve improved wages and working conditions. It is planned to last from February 5th to February 16th. Moving on, the Parliamentary Committee of Supply has approved a substantial budget allocation of $42.2 billion to enhance the capabilities of the Ghana Defense Force in 2024. The allocated funds will be used for critical defense enhancement, including procuring 2 aircrafts, 4 helicopters, a long-range drone, and an offshore patrol vessel for the Coast Guard. Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, Gail Teixeira, defended the allocation, emphasizing its significance in strengthening military infrastructure and equipment. Of the total budgeted amount, $21.7 billion is allocated for current expenditures and $20.5 billion is earmarked for capital spending. Earlier this month, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali disclosed the government's commitment to strengthening Ghana's defense capability by increasing investments in material and human resources for the GDF. The comprehensive effort aims to modernize the force's fleet and technological capabilities. In other news, the Environmental Protection Agency advised yesterday that a visible haze was developing around the East Bank Demerara and East Coast Demerara regions. The EPA's air quality sensors have detected a significantly high quality index, which signifies poor air quality conditions, mainly due to high concentration of particulate matter in the atmosphere due to the Sahara dust and high humidity. The EPA advises that particles in the Sahara dust could cause a dry cough, runny nose, sore throat, itchy or watery eyes, sneezing, etc. Children and elderly and persons with underlying respiratory or cardiovascular illnesses are most vulnerable. As a preventative measure, the public is urged to limit outdoor activities and, when possible, wear suitable dust masks to minimize exposure. The EPA assures the public that updates will be provided, notifying when the air quality returns to normal and falls within acceptable parameter ranges. Stick around when we return. Opposition Leader's Office receives $32.5 million in Ghana's 2024 budget, and one dead, several injured in tragic accident on Takama Trail, Region 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to kick off the new year with a bang? Digicel has an offer that'll make your January extra special. Imagine winning up to $1 million in free groceries in Digicel's $6 million groceries extravaganza. Simply top up with $1,000 or more, and you can be one of 6 lucky winners to enjoy the ultimate shopping spree worth $6 million. What are you waiting for? Start topping up today. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Police are currently investigating a fatal accident that claimed the life of one and left 3 injured on the Takama Trail in the I-20 district of Upper Demerara, Berbice on Tuesday, January 30th. Dead is Aaron Leach, a Nari District Crop Extension Officer of Linden, Region 10. The incident involved a pickup, PAC 3958, owned by the Ghana Lands and Survey Commission and attached to the Food and Agriculture Organization. The vehicle was driven at the time by Nigel Hudson, with occupants Gregory Grenville, Arafat Fazal, and Leach. The preliminary investigations revealed that around 8 a.m. the pickup was traveling east along the northern side of Takama Trail at a high speed. While negotiating a left bend, the driver lost control of the vehicle, causing it to end up on the southern parapet. The vehicle then toppled several times before coming to a halt. All occupants, including the driver, sustained injuries. Leach, unfortunately, was unconscious and pronounced dead on arrival at the Linden Hospital complex. The other occupants were conscious and received medical attention. Meanwhile, Nigel Hudson, the driver, is cooperating with the ongoing police investigation. In other news, in the 2024 national budget, the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, Aubrey Norton, has been allocated $32.5 million, including a 6.5% public sector salary increase approved by the government. This amount represents an increase of $1.1 million from the previous year. During the budget consideration, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Gil Teixeira, clarified that the adjustments align with the salary increase and brings the annual budgetary allocation to $32.5 million. In 2023, the opposition leader's office received $28 million. In 2021, a request for an increase was denied, with a budget allocated of $37 million, deemed sufficient by the Speaker, Mansour Nadir. Don't go away after the break. Social media CEOs to testify at U.S. Senate hearing aimed at addressing child exploitation online. And Liberia's drug problem. Drug abuse is on the rise with few treatment facilities.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Argentina's government said on Tuesday that it was confident its sprawling economic reform bill, known as the Omnibus Bill, would gain approval in Congress after it made concessions, removing some divisive sections from the legislation. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bull reports.
These are members of Argentina's scientific community protesting outside the National Science Center. They're concerned about the radical changes Argentina's new president Javier Milei is trying to pass in Congress. The reforms, in what is known the Omnibus Bill, will have an enormous impact on the agency and the public sector.
The government wants to privatise state companies in my sector. They want to privatise companies that are in charge of nuclear energy and uranium production. Selling companies like that to foreigners is something that worries me.
The far-right president came to power with a promise to transform the country. Since he took office less than 2 months ago, he proposed a bill to deregulate Argentina's struggling economy, promote formal employment, and attract foreign investors.
Negotiations are still ongoing about what will be the final version of the so-called Omnibus Bill. With 38 of the 257 seats in Congress, Milei has made lots of concessions. He has completely removed the fiscal measures of the bill, like a tax hike and a pension reform, in order to guarantee that the law will pass.
The government insists that in spite of removing crucial economic reforms, they're still on track to achieve the main goal, reducing the deficit.
What we are trying to achieve is to give to economic actors the tranquility that we will reduce the deficit and facilitate governors and legislators the approval of the most important parts of the law.
Argentina's economy has been in trouble for years. A currency devaluation in December pushed the inflation rate to over 25%, causing a sharp reduction on people's purchasing power. Economists say the next few months will be a vital test for the president's reforms.
These months are crucial. If inflation drops in the next few months, there is a chance that the government will get on track. If this doesn't happen, we will have again a government in trouble, and they will have to devalue again. And this will have an impact on the prices.
And on his popularity. Milei believes that his economic reforms and the Omnibus Bill will help him in his ultra-liberal project to change Argentina. But there are many who believe his project will leave them vulnerable and in economic need. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, the CEOs of several major social media platforms are in the hot seat to address child exploitation online. They'll testify at a hearing before U.S. senators about the risk of sexual abuse materials on the internet, and the companies are accused of not doing enough to protect children. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
The amount of child sexual abuse images and videos online is vast and expanding rapidly.
In 2022, we received over 32 million reports to the cyber tip line. Just last year, for 2023, that number increased to over 36 million.
This is a global problem. It is international in scope, and because of the instantaneous nature of many of these internet-based platforms that users use to traffic in this type of material, it is circulated across the globe 24/7.
Some social media companies, such as Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, receive high marks from child protection advocates for screening out sexual abuse material. Others, including Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter, have gutted content moderation teams.
Those people were fired or they left the company, leaving X wide open for the circulation of this kind of material.
While producing or possessing child pornography is a serious federal crime, social media companies face few consequences when it appears on their platforms.
Online sex predators know that the internet is really an open ground where they can find children who want to communicate, who want to connect.
Analysts say social media companies use freedom of speech arguments to evade responsibility for more effective moderation of harmful content online and to maximize profits.
There really is, in my estimation, a fairly significant cynicism here by the firms where they constantly appeal to wanting to protect ostensibly their users' First Amendment rights, when really what they're protecting is their own right to make decisions pro and con about content that suits them best financially.
While Congress has proved ineffective at regulating social media, some local governments are taking the lead. Last month, New Mexico sued Meta for failing to prevent harm to children. And last week, New York City Mayor Eric Adams officially designated social media as a health hazard. Protecting children online, an enormous problem with no effective solution. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Finally, Libya's new president, Joseph Boakai, has declared drug abuse a public health emergency. Addiction to heroin and crack cocaine is on the rise, and a lack of treatment facilities means the majority of addicts are left to fend for themselves. Al Jazeera's Ahmad Idris reports.
After 2 decades of addiction, Darius Domba is seeking help to overcome a habit he says he cultivated during Liberia's civil war.
I was at the age of 14 years old when I joined the revolution. So I started smoking the thing they call or marijuana grass. You understand? So I started smoking the grass. We smoked the grass, and the grass no longer make you feel the way you want to feel like. So how I get into the drugs.
According to United Nations figures, an estimated 13% of Liberia's population is abusing drugs. It says 20% of young people are also addicted to illicit substances. With the absence of a proper government program to tackle the problem, individuals and non-governmental organizations are stepping in.
After the detox, which has to do with the medications and all that, after that we get into more counseling and trying to provide some vocational training skills for them.
Our institution can only help a few addicts at a time, and they are mostly kept for a maximum of 3 months. But 40% of rehabilitated addicts, she says, fall back into the habit because drugs are cheap and easily available on the streets.
Drug cartels are increasingly targeting West Africa because of weak law enforcement. But Liberian security officials hope community engagement will help to curb the rise in smuggling and use of hard drugs.
And we have confiscated a lot of drugs. Even the Bush talking about $100 million of drugs. We confiscated that drugs, though the case in court it went the way we least expected, but however, that is a court system.
Liberia recently passed a new drug law, but many here tell us that corruption won't allow it to succeed. Darius says he's now recovered, but there are signs he's still struggling. But at least for now, he's found a temporary job at the rehab center. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Monrovia.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's FTV2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.